This week for SAO, Kirito and Yujiro get a kinky whipping. Oh, they've been bad boys. So what's up guys, Fox in here. And yes, the Integrity Knight fights have begun. Unfortunately, no weapons to fall back on this time. So let's go ahead and get started with this week's breakdown. And definitely subscribe for these weekly SAO videos from a hardcore SAO fan. This time Yujiro and Kirito without their divine weapons. But at least they got two people. Perhaps they should have done some fusion, or just have Kirito throw freaking Yujiro at him. Then over on the Integrity Knight side, the enhanced armament. So freaking great, Integrity Knights can use skill buffs on themselves. Hey Kirito and Yujiro, didn't you guys learn that at the academy? Or is that Axion Church only? Either way, Kirito, you thought your sword could grow. Take a look at how long this kinky toy could get. Yeah, that busted up gel chain was not gonna last at all. At the very least, Kirito and Yujiro still had the sacred arts. But wait a second, Kirito is not good at this. Perhaps Yujiro should have been the one to step up to do this magic battle, and then have Kirito sneaking in. Anyway, as for the Integrity Knight's whip assault. Did this thing just gain thorns mid-attack? What the hell? Was this part of the original whip? Or part of that arm enhancement from earlier? Either way, I'm calling hacks. As for Kirito catching Eldry off guard after Yujiro's failed surprise attack, you actually see this Integrity Knight bleeding. In the anime, the scene looked a little weird, so here's some of the details cut out from the novel. After the impact from Kirito's chain, you could actually hear several bones cracking. Yup, I'm talking about Eldry's hand. It wouldn't completely disable him, but it should have limited his whip usage. Unfortunately, all of this wasn't enough for Yujiro's second surprise move to succeed. Here, you got the first taste of the release recollection from Eldry's whip. Let me just mention it here so you keep it in mind, this whip is a divine object too. Not really too surprising that these Integrity Knights are just fully equipped with super ultra rare items. Keep in mind that all of the divine objects in the underworld do have some special background. For example, you know about Kirito's Night Sky sword being made from the Gigas tree. Eldry's whip must have been some powerful mythical snake back in the day. A little bit later on you're gonna find out the story about the Blue Rose sword too. That'll be nice to see animated. And yes, about the release recollection. This is actually something possible for every divine weapon. This does include divine swords like the ones from Yujiro and Kirito. And I'm not talking about Kirito making his sword long. As for Yujiro recalling Eldry being a tournament winner, I actually brought the tournament up in my past two videos. This was supposed to be that elite tournament where Lina Senpai and Volo were defeated at. At the time I didn't mention who they lost to, but it was in fact Eldry. Now you know later on he became a knight. What's interesting is that so far they haven't mentioned Lina Senpai or Volo at all. So who knows, perhaps it got retconned. Now, getting into that juicy part. That triangle coming out from the knight's forehead. If you thought there was something fishy going on with the Integrity Knights, bingo. There is some weird memory stuff going on. Bringing up some past memories from Eldry did help stimulate his former self. Unfortunately, you got the Red Ranger Quincy Knight interrupting them. But in case you thought they could have revived Eldry from this, let me just mention that at best they could have possibly broken down Eldry's mind if they continued. As for this red armored Integrity Knight, this is actually that same knight from the very first episode. Looks like he got quite the crimson armor upgrade over this past decade. If I recall correctly, it might have been an upgrade due to turning Alice in. Either way, thankfully Yujiro and Kirito got away. That little helper that's been watching them all this time helped them along. And yes, she's been hiding in Kirito's hair. Next up, some more fun begins. You got the obligatory wise, powerful loli that's now entered the series. Say hello to the Sage of the Great Library, also known as Cardinal. And yes, the name should sound familiar. Right here, Cardinal reveals the harsh truth about the underworld and the Axion Church. The underworld human empire is really built on this mountain of lies. The goddess Celsia, the goddess of darkness Vecta, all freaking fakes. Technically, these gods do exist, but they're really only GM accounts. In reality, these so-called gods or super accounts belong to the first 4 volunteers who logged into the underworld to raise the newborn Floodlines. You previously only heard part of this story, and even less if you really only stuck to the anime version of it. But let me actually be fair and say that these 4 volunteers were gods in a sense. They did establish morals and laws that were the foundation of things in present-day underworld, although this was a double-edged sword. As Cardinal mentioned, there was a smart individual who wasn't exactly ethical. Why do corrupt nobles exist? Well, you could go ahead and blame this fellow. Yeah, the condiment guys, that was their fault. The one interesting part about this is that they're kind of vague about this in the novel. I don't recall if they mentioned that this individual was necessarily too corrupt themselves, or whether it was simply part of human nature. Just the idea of this being a natural occurrence makes you wonder that much more. Ultimately, this all leads into the person behind the current state of the underworld, the Administrator, also known as Quinella. It really was a pleasant surprise that the last third of this ended up turning into Quinella's backstory. All of this being told from Quinella's point of view was A+ material. Definitely a way to improve on the source material. Also, excellent job showing her younger self in the anime. This little girl, that is the face of evil. As for the cruel young Quinella, killing little foxes? Oh my god, that was worse than the grape scene by far. My poor heart. So what was that thing they say about little kids who start torturing or killing small animals? Not sure whether or not this applies here. Either way, eventually Quinella figured out that she was in some type of virtual world. Quinella was perhaps the first AI to truly become self-aware. Something that they did cut out here was Quinella basically farming the area around the central city each night. She pretty much just raised her authority until she maxed out. So with all of this authority came great power and knowledge, although no responsibility in her case. People literally saw her as an extension of the gods. You even got a glimpse of the Axion Church Tower being built. Oh right, it's for the gods. Right. My ass it is. One detail that the novel mentioned was Quinella adding floors each year. She really hoped to get this bird's eye view on the entire human empire. Or perhaps I should say a god's view. Next up, one of the juicier reveals regarding the reason for the Axion Church and the Taboo Index even existing. Why even restrict and chain down people? The answer? So no higher power could ever appear and challenge Quinella's authority. This was the simple reason she made murdering and killing illegal. Ironically, Quinella figured out early on by killing herself that this was the one way to raise one's own authority in the underworld. Another detail cut out from the anime was Quinella explicitly said to be abusing the name of God in this world, just to get people on her side. This divine or god concept wasn't something that Quinella made up, but it was something used to explain away magic left by the original 4 volunteers. Unfortunately, Quinella herself wasn't actually a god. She was still limited by pesky old age. It looks like at this point, she just spent the rest of her days trying to unlock that underworld door. And yes, she continued endlessly just guessing at random. And then you have another truth coming out, which was a dumbass Wrath engineer that left an admin access open to the server, which Quinella was so lucky to find. Naturally, the great leader returned herself to peak look and age, also going butt naked. And yes, she does appear completely nude later on, which is why I'm wondering how they're gonna censor that, if they do. Then you have the second priority on the list, which was complete underworld dominance. Oh, what's this? Cardinal has more authority than I do? Let's just go ahead and make my authority greater than that of Cardinal's. So whoops, Quinella accidentally fused herself with Cardinal. Or should I say now officially the administrator. So let's go ahead and pause right here and let me ask you, what do you think about Quinella? Was she evil as a little kid? Or did she eventually just get corrupted with all this power? Just pause the video for a second and let me know down below. Naturally, Quinella's gonna play a huge role in the upcoming episodes. With that coming up, they have released a new visual for SAO Alicization, the second core. Going from top to bottom, you see Cardinal, which you just met. You then have the administrator in her current look. Then you have the admin as a little girl, when she was still human. Oh, she looked so innocent. Right in the middle, you have Alice sporting her blue cape. I don't know why, but it's looking bigger here. Oh yes, and there's something on her face. You could just wonder what happened to her. Then you have the 4 Integrity Knights. From left to right, you have Eldri, followed by Spanathio, Synthesis 2, then Burkirli, Synthesis 1. Yes, this is the top Integrity Knight, and I definitely can't wait to see him. Then you have Integrity Knight number 7. He's the knight with the bow from this episode. Finally, you have Kirito and Yujiro near the bottom. I do expect a lot of this stuff to be in the new opening coming soon. Keep in mind that the second part of SAO Alicization will start on January 5th, so there will be a 2-week break. At least for us, I use the term break loosely. Even though there's not going to be a new episode airing, the animators and studio are still going to be working. Anyway, now getting into some of the major changes skipped or cut out for the anime. First off is something for Kirito that happened during the battle with Eldri. During the battle, Kirito thought back to how he never felt this much pain since he fought the goblins 2 years ago. Kirito realized that one of his major weaknesses in the underworld was having such a low pain tolerance, which is more true in the underworld since in battles you would never get injured, or at least not very severely. Then going back to the Cardinal explanation, there's 3 different things worth noting that she cut out. The first thing is the marriage and reproduction system. Cardinal only mentioned that the reproduction system should be similar to that of real life. Then you have the possibility of the female getting pregnant. If that did happen, in this case an empty light cube would be loaded with the new Flucklight. As for the marriage system, it was actually a simple system command, which had the citizens pledging to the Stelcia goddess. Next up is something regarding experience points. Cardinal explained that the Underworld was set up for everyone to increase their authority for the eventual Great War. Underworld people could raise their authority by killing Dark Territory monsters, but also other people and animals. Nobles in particular had raised their own authority when they hunted for sport. However, Quinella was probably the first to kill a defenseless animal intentionally. And next up, third thing regarding restrictions. Cardinal explained how Quinella was now bound by the Taboo Index, since naturally she was the one who made it. Although she wasn't without restrictions herself, Quinella still followed and was restricted by the teachings of her parents. For example, not killing others. Otherwise, she would have surely killed everyone around her just to increase her own authority. And then the final thing worth noting is something regarding Alice. You found out about how Quinella killed to raise her own authority at a young age. Kirito also wondered the same about Alice. How come she was so skillful in using the sacred arts at a young age? He really doubted that Alice was going out and killing small foxes at nighttime. Hopefully. Anyway, more important, let me hear from you now. What did you think about Kirito and Yuju's first night versus an Integrity Knight? And how about Quinella's backstory? Was the little girl just plain evil, or did she get corrupted with power? Also, what do you think about SAO Alicization so far? You're officially 1/4 the way through it. Anyway, go ahead and smash that thumbs up and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, you can enjoy weekly, juicy SAO videos from a hardcore SAO fan. SAO is going on break for 2 weeks, although I still have planned to put out some SAO videos too, so look forward to those. Go ahead and check out my Season 3 opening breakdown if you haven't, and I'll see you guys later.